Right, one of the issues I've got to find is this circuit here. It does a ring final in this office, and when I put the board in, I knew there was an issue. I knew there was an issue between neutral and earth. So I knew the RCB was going to be tripping, and I knew it was there was a broken neutral conductor as well, broken ring final neutral conductor. So rightly or wrongly, judge me or don't judge me, I popped it on MTB because I changed the board. I was going around when I first came in phase 1. I was going around smashing all the boards in, and I knew I was coming back to do all the other remedial work. So I popped it on a little 16 amp MCB for now, full well knowing I'll be back to fault find to find the broken ring final and also the neutral to CPC. There was a dead short, so I knew it would just trip the RCD. Because it only does like 10 sockets, and I found everything and pulled all the sockets out. So I knew there was actual like a cable issue, some conductor or something, because it does like 10 sockets, and I unplugged everything, and I was still getting dead short on installation resistance. So I'm here today to find out what it is. So let's have a quick double check. That it is definitely broken. Come on, leads. Right, there we go. Ooh. No doubt. Right. Onto there. Onto there. Nothing. Yeah, as I suspected. I'll just double check the lines as well, just so I'm not going crazy. Really hard to fucking film one-handed. So like one. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a small ring final, so yeah, 0.21. And just for reference, neutral to CPC, we shouldn't get a reading. I've got it on 250 volts, not to damage anything, but I think I've unplugged everything. I'm dead short, and I shouldn't be getting that with everything unplugged. These are on a different circuit, so we're talking about that back row that goes under the desk down there. So I shouldn't be getting a reading, but I am. So I've got broken neutral, and I've got something neutral to CPC. Two faults. Now, before I could break it down. I could get my long lead out and go around to find the neutral fault. I'm gonna guess from experience that both those issues are probably one fault, like a neutral touching the CPC out of the terminal or something like that. Looking around, I remember when I tested it, I did have a quick look behind a couple of sockets just for something obvious, but I was here to do an EICR. I'm not here to find the issues. So I reported down I had a dead short neutral to CPC and also no RN continuity. But looking around all the sockets, the only thing, well, I'm going to take I'm going to take a guess, because there was one socket up there, which I noticed it's just unusual, you know, to be up in a corner. It's on that circuit. When you look above the false ceiling, you can see the cables come out of there and they go into that socket, and then they go in the wall, in the plasterboard to the trunking. So before I get all the rest of the test out, I'm just gonna have another poke about, but I'm gonna have a look at this socket up here. Only because if I was a Sparky, or if I was an apprentice and I was charged with putting on this socket, it's a pretty awkward location, and you probably couldn't, you know, with all the ceiling tiles, all the ceiling shit like that, it'd probably be quite tricky to terminate it. Yeah, if this isn't it, then I'll get my test kit out. But just before I start marching around and long leading it, if I was charged with fucking doing this, like I said, it's such an awkward location that you can imagine someone not quite terminating it and it's slipping out. I'm guessing the neutral has popped out of the terminal and it's touching. Oh, fucking torch out. Oh, it's fucking flashing, didn't charge it. Ah, fucking hell. Fucking hell, Laura. There it is. See it? There's the neutral there. It looked like it was touching the that bit of copper there. Looked like it was touching the, there it is there. It looked like it was touching that when I pulled it off. It looks like it slipped out and touched that bit of copper, that bit of, fucking hell. God, son, you fucking, can you teach that in college? I don't know. Can you teach that? College is obviously very important, but there was something about that socket. I was like, oh, it's just weird. It's just up out of the way, and if I was to terminate it, that'd be fucking awkward. And yeah, and it's obviously slipped out of the terminal and touched that. Let me re-terminate that, and then we'll go back and test and check. All right, re-terminated. Now, I charge fault finding at an hourly rate. So I got a bit of time, so I'm happy to spend an extra 5 minutes just to see if that was it. But if it isn't it, obviously it's not a very efficient or effective use of my time. I should just go straight to get the test kit out and go around. But everything else was surface trunking. It was just that one on its own, which made me think, well, for 5 minutes, let me just quickly check. If it's not it, well, I've only wasted 5 minutes, but let's see. Right, let's go back to ohms. Let's check the neutral continuity. Oh, fuck me, I hope it is. I hope this is it. Ah! That's the way, I like it. Alright, cool, so that solves one issue. 0.21-ish, which is like the line conductor as well. So let's go to insulation resistance and see if this, if this is clear, then I know when I put the RCBO in, it won't trip. Go there. Only need to go on one of them because we know it's a ring final. Neutral, CPC, 250. Please be clear. Yeah, look at it. Climbing. Cool. I've got the RCBO in the van. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. Let me swap that out. Now, I'll get the 32 amp RCBO, which I did buy because I bought when I quoted, I got like for like fuses. Right, swapped out for 32 amp RCBO. Hopefully it should hold when I turn it on, which it is. I can hear things booting up behind me. You might fucking laugh and fucking hell, it's only a fucking fault. It's only a broken neutral ring final and a neutral to CPC, dead short, but a fucking win's a win, innit? You know what I mean? A win is a fucking win. I always get pumped when I find faults, you know what I mean? Alright, let's do a quick RCBO test. Make sure I'm on type A, there we are. Right, press test. Cool. Quickly press the function test. Wicked. Scroll through for my results. This is partly for me so I can remember the results to put them on the certificate. Well within permitted values ×1 and ×5. Nice.